What's the best defense to keep the rupee healthy? The vaccination is inflation. That's what we shall discuss in this issue of On Point. As a maverick observer of the Indian economy, I like to take this trip about the economy with you. And it's great if you get to know when a new episode comes up. The best way to do it is press the bell icon so that the new episode will always turn up on your feed. And now, onwards with our story. There's plenty of discussion in newspapers, in other places about why the rupee is falling, and the rupee is falling. Well, my answer to that is the best treatment for rupee is a stable inflation. Why so? A currency, rupee is a currency. A currency is liked by everybody, people inside, people outside the country, if the currency has value. So when I buy 100 rupee worth of goods, next day, if that 100 rupee buys less good, that means the value of the currency has gone down. And when does that happen? That means when inflation rises. So globally, people love currencies which do not let this happen. And how don't they let this happen? Because the countries in question keep their inflation rates moderate. A moderate inflation is the best way to keep an currency looking attractive to the people of the world. When the people of the world find the currency attractive, what do? They buy more of that currency. When they buy more of that currency, what happens? The currency's value stays strong and doesn't fall. What's happening with the rupee? The rupee has benefited from a stable inflation rate. In fact, one must give the former governor of RBI, Mr. Shaktikant Das, a credit for sticking to inflation targeting. He's often been told not to do so, but he has stuck to his task, and I think that has helped a lot. The rupee, therefore, today is benefiting from the inflation being at around 4%. So whenever it goes towards 5%, the RBI raises alarm and tries to bring the inflation rate down. Every time the inflation rate comes down, the rupee benefits. And that is the biggest way to ensure that the rupee does not lose its value. Yet, the rupee has lost its value. It was 84 against a dollar, it was 85, it's now touched almost 86. Would it touch 87? Let's not get there. Let's look at why the inflation, despite being steady, the rupee is losing its value. Two things here. First, the fact that we keep our inflation steady is a fairly recent phenomena. Give this time to play out. How much time? Well, actually, economists find it takes a long time. 15, 20, almost 30 years before people agree that this country's rupee, this country's currency is a good storehouse of value. Remember, storehouse of value. If you hold a particular goods in rupee, you are confident the value will hold. Sudanese currency, the value will not hold. So that's an important thing. What's the second thing? The second immediate reason why the rupee of late has been decelerating is because there is a global attraction towards the US dollar. Now we can't do anything about it. It is the biggest dada in the international marketplace, so currencies are moving there. What can the government of India do is, with its huge foreign exchange reserves, come into the market often to ensure that there's not too much of a sell-off. You know, the story should not spread that the rupee is depreciating very fast, it will lose value even more. There is, in the currency markets of the world, often this scare. We don't have to be bothered this time because the RBI has a massive foreign exchange reserves, a massive foreign exchange reserve of over $600 billion. So the RBI can guard against a slippage of the rupee. It can sort of hold the rupee steady, not let it slide on a slippery slope. What it cannot hold against is that the foreign exchange market is finding the US dollar very attractive. As long as that continues, this slide will continue. Does that harm India? There are two schools of thought. One says, and I believe that the cheaper rupee actually helps our exporters. There's another group of people who say, no, but our imports will go up. Our imports are largely oil and gas, and we can't do much about it. In fact, it should go up and it will go up. But we are not terribly scared, because that's helping the Indian economy as the imports of oil and gas rises. So what we can help is to make our exporters smarter by giving them a cheaper rupee. What we could have given them instead? An easier labor law. Wages and others to ensure that the labor is flexibly hired and fired. And cheaper electricity. Are our states providing that flexibility in labor laws? Not really there. Are our states providing cheap electricity? No way. So if they are not going to provide those, what is the third option that exporters have to make their goods competitive? A cheaper rupee. So if we are going to have a cheaper rupee, my estimate is this is going to benefit us. So watch out. A very interesting year for the rupee. I am of the school that thinks that this is actually a benefit coming India's way. And that's all from this edition of On Point. For a detailed description of what we discussed here, please visit my Substack. The link is in the description below. Thank you.